Dr. Carr, hello.
Hello.
You were involved in new classification at pseudomyxoma peritonei. Could you summarize us the key elements of this classification and its clinical impact?
Yes. I've been involved in developing a classification in association with a whole panel of other experts in the field, and we've been collaborating on this now for some time, thinking about how we can get a classification that is as reproducible as possible and as clinically relevant as possible. And what we have decided is that a classification of pseudomyxoma peritonei, which essentially has 4 divisions, would be appropriate. Acellular mucin, low-grade pseudomyxoma peritonei, or disseminated peritoneal adenomycinosis. High-grade pseudomyxoma peritonei, or that would be equivalent to what is a PMCA, peritoneal mucinous carcinomatosis in the other main classification, and signaturing cell. And the reason that we have a 4th group of signaturing cell, again, is because of recent evidence that has shown how important the presence of signaturing cells is in the prognosis of this condition. And the reason that we don't have an intermediate group between the low grade and the high grade, again, is because of the problems of reproducibility of such an intermediate group, and also what do you do with those patients who are in the intermediate group? So do you treat them as low grade or high grade? You have to make that decision. So at the moment, in our current state of knowledge and understanding of this disease, our conclusion has been that that classification is the right thing to do. That, of course, will supersede what is currently in the WHO Blue Book, when this is published, it will actually represent an advance on what is currently the WHO definition.
Thank you. The second question overlaps a little bit with the first one, but could you precise us the main differences with the other available classifications?
Yes. Other classifications, well, the current WHO one, for example, that doesn't separate out signaturing cell lesions. You could, I mean, it doesn't say that you mustn't mention them, but there is no separate group for them. And the point about making a completely separate group is to emphasize the fact that these lesions do have a particularly poor prognosis. As I say, the lack of an intermediate category, which in low and high grade, again, is a distinction between classifications used by other people. As I say, it uses a standardized terminology that is widely accepted in the literature. It's not inventing new terms, but it is rationalizing those into what is, we think, a clinically relevant classification. And of course it will change in time. As we get more information, there's no reason why this should be set in stone forever. Of course not. But at the moment, this seems to us to be the best way of classifying these lesions.
Thank you. So, in your opinion, is an international cooperative group needed for the standardization of pseudomyxoma peritoneal classification?
I think yes. And I say that, firstly, the experience of organizing and running this group has been very positive. I think it has worked very well. And also, it represents a tremendous collaboration between a large number of people. It also represents consensus. If I were to just publish a paper giving my opinion of what should happen, firstly, I wouldn't have had the benefit of all these people's ideas. And also, other people who disagreed with it might just decide to ignore it, but now we have a classification to which so many experts in the field have contributed. It has to be taken seriously, and also it represents consensus between all those experts. So I think this is a model, actually, maybe, for for other circumstances. It's based on the Delphi process, so you have rounds of questions and rounds of opinions. And, but it differs from a classical Delphi process because you have a very large expert group rather than just a small panel. And yeah, I think it's worked very well. And if, like in pseudomyxoma, there's relatively little information, hard information about what to do, this sort of consensus process works very well. If we had absolutely incontrovertible, high-level evidence, based on huge studies, that would be nice, but we don't. So we have to get. So this expert idea actually still, I think, is very relevant, and I think the way of organising it, as we've done, has been very successful. And yeah, I think it's something that could be done in the future. And certainly, as far as we're concerned, the process of the International Cooperative Group will continue. We've made these decisions about pseudomyxoma peritonei, but there's still lots more work to be done. For example, I mentioned signaturing cells earlier. What is a signaturing cell? How does a pathologist recognise a clinically significant signaturing cell under the microscope? That is still work to be done, and I look forward to it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for participating in this session of the DU de carcinose péritonéale.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you.